How often do you guys practice pizzicato? Well, if the answer is never, you're probably in pretty good company, because I think it's probably one of the least taught and least practiced aspects of cello playing. However, like anything else, it's a skill that needs honing. And to do that, I have quite some time ago already started repurposing the wonderful bowing exercises at the end of the famous book by Feuillard, the Daily Exercises. Now, I'm not going to ask you to straight away go to Amazon and try to buy the book, because it's out of copyright, public domain, so I'm posting the link to the music below if you haven't got it. However, if you haven't got it, it's a book you really should have, because there is not an ailment on the cello for which there isn't some sort of cure in Feuillard. So the chapters which we want are 34, 35 and 36. And of course, those are the chapters which are designed normally to be played, of course, with a bow, and where we are training string crossings. However, they are also absolutely wonderful for developing what I would call sort of pizzicato agility. So I'm going to give you a few examples. So the first ones are from chapter 34, that's page 41 in the book. And of course, there is a mixture of slurred patterns, which of course are not so suitable, but we are looking really starting from about number 9 onwards, all the different separate bow patterns. Yeah, so to give you a few examples, here is number 9, and then of course you have this chord sequence written at the top. So that sequence is supposed to be applied to every single variation on the page. So that was one. Now I pick a few random ones. 13. Now 20. You see, depending on what the crossing pattern is, so it demands sort of different movements here in the finger. Loads more. Turn the page, go to chapter 35. Now we are going across 3 strings. So even more agility needed here. Yeah, so I'm going to pick a couple of random ones. Number 10. Number 11. 12. 13. 14, and so on. Turn over another page to 36, and you have of course got 4 strings. So there are perhaps not as many patterns here that are suitable for pizzicato. However, it is actually also quite a good idea to look at even some of the slurred ones. So things like with your thumb practicing slow spread. Of course, there are also separate ones which you can use as well. So and so on and so forth. Now, pizzicato in general, I would practice it in a few different ways. In general, normal pizzicato obviously done mostly with either the first or the second finger. Everyone has got a slight personal preference. In fact, I would actually suggest you practice with both fingers as well as with your thumb. Why? Even for these ones, I actually use the thumb quite often, especially if I need a really, really good projection and a really sort of round sound quality. You sometimes plucking with the first finger, the sound can be a little bit thin, and it also incidentally depends a little bit on how fleshy your fingers are. Now, my fingertips are very, very small. We have spoken about this many times. No need to go into again. But so I don't really have these really sort of, you know, fleshy padded fingertips, which is why if I need a really round sound on the pizzicato, I tend to use my thumb actually very, very often. Another thing that I recommend is practice both with bow in hand, which of course means you have got this kind of grip, yeah, so the thumb goes on the side here and you have got that, but also practice without, because it's a completely different feeling. Personally, I find it much easier to pitch with my bow in hand because it just gives you this kind of stabilizing counterweight. But we need to be able to do both, because especially in an orchestral setting, very often if you have a whole movement, for instance, of pizzicato, there will usually be a marking in there where it's decided bows down, so everybody puts their bows down and you're only plucking. So if you're not used to doing it without the bow in hand, that will feel really, really weird, and you don't want to get caught out with that. So yeah, that's a little challenge for today, pitching your way through some Feuillard. So entirely new task, but I hope you'll enjoy it. As I said, the link is right below the video in the description for the music. You need chapters 34, 35 and 36 starting on page 41. And as usual, I hope you have a great deal of fun with it. Any questions or comments, of course, as usual, I love receiving those and love talking to you about all the sort of finer details in the comment section, so do pop them below. And of course, as ever, if you enjoyed the video, then if you haven't done so already, do subscribe and smash that like button. And I really look forward to seeing you more for more.